Cloud. Go live on Facebook. Share in a group. Kids.
Got a few bulbs out.
I know. They break pretty easily, so I've vacuumed up a lot of glass.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Surprisingly light.
Yeah, they're way lighter than the ones you guys have. Go live. Error. Please try again. Go live. Error. Please try again. Come on. I swear I didn't.
Can I still bottle of water?
Yeah.
Can you get me one? I was going to ask the
Actually,
same thing.
no, you can't steal it if we give it to you.
Would you like one, Josiah?
No, I'm good. I don't drink water.
You don't drink water?
I'm just kidding. It's like Jake Peralta. You watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all? No. He thinks water is gross. He's a very unhealthy guy. Come on.
It's funny watching your face and
I
then
know,
it not
later.
be.
We're live. I guess you can't do two lives at once. Hello. Welcome, Grace Kids. We're here for Ask Anything. Glad you guys are here. Well, if you are here, we'll see if you guys start showing up. Or you may be watching later. We got Pastor Michael. I'm Pastor Josiah, and this is Lizzie.
Hey, guys.
And we are all together today. Michael is over here, so we said, let's do this all together. Those lights look kind of crazy in the school. I like it. So we don't have a ton of questions, but we have a couple announcements to start off. You guys do, right? At least you do.
You're talking about small groups?
Yeah. Or no, did you have another one? Sunday night.
Sunday night here.
Yeah.
All right, so if you don't know, now you know that at Olmsted Falls this Sunday night at 5 o'clock and at 7 o'clock, we're going to be on site at the Olmsted Falls campus. So it is a registration for your car, so make sure you go online. You have to register your car. It is one car per family. So go ahead and register for that. If you have children, there are packets that will be provided that the kids can kind of do that while the sermon and worship's going on. But anything else, Lizzie?
Yeah, and I want to encourage you guys to bring your iPads or cell phones with headphones too, because you guys will have access to our Sunday video, so you can watch that. And then also we have an announcement to make. We are going to be opening up virtual small groups. So we just want to encourage you guys and keep you guys encouraged during this time and being able to meet with one another. So we'll have some volunteers in those Zoom calls on with you guys, and we're so excited. There's so much happening, and we're so excited to start this with you guys. So be on the lookout for those signups coming up Friday in the newsletter.
That's exciting. I'm so excited about both, especially Sunday night. It's going to be so fun. I think they had to add a second service because there was at least 350 cars. I'm saying that sounds so huge, but that's right. At least 350 cars coming, which means there's more than one person in most of those cars. So.
That means that you're excited, we're excited.
Yeah.
It's good news. It's
going to be a party. So we have a couple questions and from you guys. Were they from you guys? Or did you make them up, Michael?
I didn't make them up. I didn't make them up. Okay.
Couple questions here. And then since we didn't have a ton of questions, I have a game I play in youth group that we're going to play. It's a question game to get us going. But if you throw any questions in the comments, then we'll have stuff to talk about. So, but let's start with this one. Do any of us know any magic tricks? Answer for me is no.
No.
Actually, I can take my finger off. Let's see if I can. See, I got all my fingers here, and then this one comes out.
Whoa.
There we go.
I was gonna make a joke and say like I can't even do the finger thing. You know? I don't even know how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know any magic tricks. I wish I could, genuinely, because I think magic's fascinating. But.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't either. I used to have a kit when I was a kid, though. So
yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah, I did too. I guess I can crack my nose too.
Oh,
you see that?
Ew. Oh.
Another magic trick.
I heard it. I hope you heard it at home.
Maybe. All right. Next question. If you could take the place of a Bible character, if you could, wait.
This one's tough. Okay, so this one, I'll reword it. So the question was, like, if you can take the place of a Bible character within that story, who would you take? So, like,
Okay.
I'd like to be Daniel in the lion's den. Said no one ever.
Yeah.
But like something like that.
But maybe the lion.
Yeah. See how he prayed.
Okay, cool. So pick a story, and then which
would you want to be there, or for like a fly on the wall for that story?
Yeah. Okay. That's a great question. You guys have an answer right off the top of your head?
No. Go first.
I had two. Jonah, I would just like to experience, like, be on a fly on the wall and just kind of see his journey, because I feel like we always judge him and we're like, why are you being that stupid? But
yeah,
it's just to experience that. And then also, just kind of cheesy, one of my favorite Bible stories is when Jesus does calm the storm, which we had last week. So I'd love to be just a disciple, like, on the boat and kind of see what that would have been like.
Yeah. So you would think it'd be worth going through the terror of the storm to see it calm?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Storms freak me out. So to have Jesus there to calm it, like,
yeah,
would be great.
That's cool.
For me, I'll go. So this has always been like, if there was one I would love to have been there, I guess I always have had this answer. It'd be the road to Emmaus, where Jesus is talking to those two guys about how all of Scripture is about him. I would love to be part of that. In regards to like more of a, I don't want to say more of a miraculous story. I don't know. Like all of it's pretty cool. I like seeing that stuff in person. It helps. Road to Emmaus would be my answer.
Cool. I'd be one of the disciples in the upper room at Pentecost. I think that the way that they describe that in Acts sounds like they don't really know how to put into words the amazing experience that was had. So you kind of had to be there. So I would have loved to be there. I've tasted little glimpses of like the power of the Spirit here and there in my spiritual journey, and to have one like that with that group, and then everybody's speaking different languages and the diversity there, just so cool.
I think we can kind of almost imagine like what heaven would be like too. We'd be like, wow, how cool is that going to be?
Yeah.
I've always used a joke, like when you get to heaven, we're going to get there and be like, wow, I was way off. But like, it's going to be so awesome. I don't see any other questions that came in.
All right. Well, Lizzie asked a pretty hard one. It was a difficult question. What's your best knock-knock joke? It's difficult because I can't think of it.
I only have one, and it's like the most like, so my kids like doing knock-knock jokes like on the fly. So you have to make up something, and the answer doesn't even really, you can be like, just make up gibberish. And they're like, that's the best joke ever.
Yeah.
So
Silas is there too.
Yeah. So right now it's just like the, aren't you glad I didn't say banana? Like, it's so bad. I got nothing.
For a while we were on knock-knock jokes. So I was looking a bunch up, and there's some good ones out there, but I'm disappointing because I can't remember things like that.
I have one.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Kanga.
Kanga who?
Kangaroo.
Nice.
We're trying.
Cool. All right. So since we didn't have a ton of questions, do we have any in the comments yet?
Nothing.
All right. Since we don't really have any in the comments either, I've got this pool party game. So I play this at youth group sometimes. We have a pool here that I have created, and there's a shallow end. It's safe. It's surface level. Doesn't go very deep. And there's a deep end of the pool. And so in the deep end are deeper questions, harder questions. They get a little personal. They get a little theological. So it's totally up to you which one you want to choose from. If you want to be shallow.
Ladies first.
Or if you want to be deep. Or we could be nicer and call it the wading pool. So not necessarily shallow, but more factual.
Definitely feel a little peer pressure.
All right, she's going deep. You didn't have to.
What do you find most difficult about the Christian life?
She went right in.
I think just navigating like the secular world and maybe the stereotypes that they have about Christians. And just different experiences that people have with Christians. Because it's just a label, right? And people think that they need to be a certain way and act a certain way when they're a quote-unquote Christian. So I think that is the hardest to navigate.
Like the expectations other people have of you? as a
Not
Christian?
expectations, but just like maybe. I locked myself into this corner.
Well, maybe like trying to edge the being of the world, not of it, like being in it, not of, like how to entwine those.
Yeah, and just like because there's this expectation, right? And just like clearing that away and saying like, hey, it's not about how I act or how I am, but it's about who our Creator is and the fact that He's living in me, and what He did for us is bigger than the way I'm acting. I guess.
That's if you can feel the weight of that responsibility of representing Christ to the world. And, so
we got J.O. Schley.
Oh, okay, cool.
Chrissy Graham in the house. They wanted to know where we are. We're Olmsted Falls.
Yep, Olmsted Falls campus. This is the activity center. This is where we have middle school and high school youth group, and then lots of random events in this room. So,
I thought that was a great answer.
Thanks.
Like, I think everybody kind of goes through, that's probably one of the hardest things to be a Christian. It's like how to go through life. Luckily, God kind of gave us guidelines and the Holy Spirit to kind of help us through that. But yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yep. Cool. Michael, deep or shallow?
Shallow.
All right, he's going shallow. He saw how real
It's too real.
How real those deep ones are.
What is one of your earliest memories?
That's not even that shallow. This should be a mid-size.
Yeah, one of your earliest memories. Okay, this is getting weird because like you have flashes of like, I remember when this happened, but like I don't know how old I was. I remember playing on my parents' bedroom floor with like Sesame Street foam characters that go inside like the bathtub, but like I was playing on the floor. And I remember like sticking them to their dresser. Like, I have no idea how old that was. I've never confirmed this story. It could be a dream. I have no idea. But that's one of them. And a whole bunch of others, but that's probably, I think I was the youngest at that point.
Yeah, nice. That's a weird thing about memories. I have a 6-year-old, so I'm sure he's going to remember things in his life by now.
Yeah.
But I remember when he was born, but he won't remember that. It's just weird. Yeah. Memories are weird. You have this whole several years of your life that you don't even know existed, right? All right, I'll go deep. Do we have another one in there?
No, not yet.
I thought it was going to save me. All right. What draws you closer to God more than anything else? Good question, deep end. What draws me close to God more than anything else? I would say it's a mixture of like times of life that I wish it wasn't this way. I wish I was always pursuing God with all my strength. But certain seasons of life force that and remind me, wake me up. And so like seasons that are a little bit more difficult or transitionary for me are usually times where I'm seeking the Lord. If I need to know the answer to something, if I'm like, do I go this way or this way? I'm usually way more in prayer because I'm like, I have to get the answer. And so I'm only going to get the answer if I'm on my knees. And if he's not going to answer me the first time I pray, then I have to pray again and again. So a lot of times what draws me closest to God is like the sense of need for the Lord, which I definitely could and should sense all day, every day. But definitely the harder times in life and the transitional times in life draw me in. And then once I'm there, when I'm like, okay, now I need to pursue God with my whole strength, then it's usually journaling and a walk in the woods and worship music. All three of those can like help me. And I maybe even above all those, now I'm thinking out loud, this is great. Good job, DJ. A group of friends that will pray together is actually probably on top of all of that. But you have to have the right people in your life and you have to have that group of friends. So if it's all on me, then I go walk in the woods. But if I've got a group of friends to pray with, that's the best.
I think I have two points I wanted to add to that. So with the praying with friends, that is one of the most vital things a Christian can do. Because like I think prayer is like this, and it shouldn't be, shamefully so, like this weird awkward thing. Friends don't do that. That's like a church thing or a small group thing. Let's not, like that couldn't be further from the truth about living the daily life of a Christian and what community entails and what the apostles and disciples did together. precisely with, Pentecost too, and then praying in the upper room. It's just evidence of that Christian walk. So I would challenge anybody to find those friends, even if they're stretching you. Like, you want to be surrounded by people who are pushing you in your spiritual walk, even if it's uncomfortable at first. And then, to your point of journaling, what does journaling look like to you? What would you tell somebody if they've never journaled before? How did you get into it, and what does it look like?
Yeah, so for me, I like to think fast, and I can type pretty fast, so it's usually at the computer so that my thoughts and my typing can go almost at the same speed. And it's totally unfiltered. I'm allowed to say whatever is on my heart. I don't have to show it to anybody. Usually I don't. Sometimes I'll show it to Sarah, my wife, but and she could always look at them if she wanted to. But so my own personal rule is I get to say whatever I want to say on there. There's things that, like, when I'm talking to people that could be affected by my words, I have to be more careful with my words. But if I'm just journaling and it's already in my heart, I guess my belief is that to put it on paper is going to help me. So I'm doing it in a posture where I'm kind of writing to God. I don't say, "Dear Lord." Sometimes I do, I guess. I write like, "Dear Lord." But usually it's more like, I'm blurting out all my thoughts, fully aware that God and me are the only ones reading these words. They're already in my heart, so they needed to get out. And as I find myself, as I'm typing, the things that were swirling in my brain are they stop on the paper. So they were going like this, maybe for weeks. And then once I can type them out, they're there on paper. And they don't have to do this anymore and try to remind me of what. And so I can think the next few thoughts that aren't so swirly and maybe a little bit deeper, more solid. And then I can, from a more at peace place, I can remind myself of the truth. And a lot of times I'll go into prayer from there at a lot more level of rest in my soul and just more peace. Whereas you have those thoughts that you're like, I can't let go of this because it's important, and I don't want to forget it. So if you never write that down, then you're going to be always trying to not forget it. So for me, that's the process.
I have 2 more follow-ups.
Okay.
True or false? You actually type like this? That's number 1.
False.
But you almost just blew my mind, because whenever you hear journaling, for whatever reason, my mind is like, you need to get one of those notebooks and you need to write everything down.
Me.
And that's always kind of been a block for me. It's I don't want to write, but I write all the time.
Yeah.
So I think having e-copies of a journal is so ingenious, and I don't even know why I haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
That's what people do when they write now.
Yeah. And I found it super valuable actually to go back and search. I'll search keywords of what was I? And I put the date too. So 2 things. I can search terms when was the last time I journaled about this person or this event, and then you can actually go back and read about it. And it's so cool to read what you had written 2 years ago about the same topic. And then the date. I love when I'm about to journal and I see in my file, I'm pretty organized with them. So I can look back last year, almost the same day. Oh, I was journaling last year, the same day. So I go back and read, and it's fascinating to find, or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. So for me, it's I get this sense of wholeness of myself. Oh, I was the same person 5 years ago as I am today. Or, wow, I think very differently right now. Or, man, I was smarter back then. Sometimes I get that thought. I really was onto something that I forgot. So it's been really valuable for me. I always tell myself I need to do it more, because sometimes it's only once a month, but.
Yeah, I'm a pen and paper person.
Cool.
And I know a lot of people are but don't you have so many thoughts that you're a pen? And I find that the non-important thoughts kind of get lost.
That's cool.
And the Holy Spirit kind of just intercedes, and I'll start to see oh, this isn't my thoughts. This is kind of the truth that I needed to hear right now.
That's awesome. Yeah.
For me, the pen and paper.
Cool. I like that. It's great how different people have different things that are right for their soul.
I think I'm going to try to do the e-journaling.
Nice. Yeah.
That, it literally has been I don't want to write everything down and create all these journals. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But I am organized with all of the other documents and notes that I put. Why not just add a journal to it?
Yeah. I actually have a separate login in my computer for my Sabbath days. so that I can log into the computer and get to my journals without any of my emails or any of my work stuff even being on an option. Like I'm not signed into those emails. I'm not signed into that Google Drive. So I just open it up. It's literally called Sabbath distraction free login. So I click that one. I think YouTube is blocked. Netflix is blocked. Wow. It's like, this is just for processing my thoughts on Fridays is the day that I usually take. It's helpful.
No other questions yet? Lizzie, you're up.
All right.
These are good. I like this.
Yeah, it's fun.
What do you, oh, I just did this one.
Oh, really? You're back in?
That's so random that you would finally get the same.
What is one thing you'd like your parents to say to you now?
Ooh, real deep.
Wow. I don't know. My mom and I have a really good relationship, so we like talk about everything.
Is there something that she does say to you that like really encourages you?
Yeah, the one thing I love about my mom is that like she's open to like anything. So if I were to tell her today that I'm not going to do this, but if I were to tell her today I'm leaving ministry and I'm going to California, she'd be like, okay, like I trust you and I trust where God's leading you. So that's like one thing that like, yeah, my favorite thing that she does tell me is like, hey, like whatever, like you're going, like that is okay. I'm in full support of you. So.
That's great.
Awesome.
As parents, it's so important for us to think of the words that our kids need to hear. Another student in high school answered that question and said something about, it was a basic thing. Oh, you're wanted. Like I want my parents to, or I think it was a similar question. What do you wish they would have said more growing up? Man, I need to make sure my kids know that I want them around. And I light up when they come around. So yeah, it's good. And another one? Oh, he's going deep. Sometimes you gotta warm up in the shallow end.
Right? What non-spiritual activity in your life makes God smile? That question that came in. What non-spiritual activity in your life makes God smile? Everything is spiritual. I know that sounds like super cliche, but like when Paul says like do everything for the glory of God, like no matter what you do. I would say, I don't want to say like just like being with my family. I would imagine the relationship that I have with my wife and my boys is pleasing to God. You know, I pray that's what it would be. I like reading. It's not always a spiritual thing, but like, I don't know. I don't really separate the two, where it's like, this is a spiritual, this is not.
Yep.
Like, even sports, like, how do we make sports spiritual without idolizing it, obviously? So, I'd say spending time with my family.
Yeah, nice.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely makes them smile. I think I've maybe said this before, this story, but one time I was at a worship night, and Sarah and I needed this worship night. It was Corey Asbury leading worship. Beautiful, so good. We had Silas with us. He was like 1 year old. And we were both in there at first, but it was so loud that it was going to kill his ears. So one of us would be in the hallway and one of us would be worshiping, and we'd trade off. And I would go in there to the worship and like, I was like weeping. It was something, the Spirit was so moving in my heart that night. It was so cool. And then Sarah would come in and be like, it's your turn to watch Silas. So I'd go back out in the hallway and watch Silas try to climb upstairs and stumble around. And I felt the Lord whisper, like, it's the same. Whether you're out here in the hallway with your kid or whether you're in there weeping in my presence, to me, it's the same. Really cool. Yeah.
All right, question came in. What are some prayers you are praying for the kids and students during this chaotic time? Came from Stephanie.
Great question.
Prayers. I want Lizzie to go because in every meeting that we have, Lizzie is sharing her heart for the kids, that they would be cared for and heard and loved every single time we meet. So I'll let her expound on that, or if you had something else. So.
The first thing for me that comes to mind is schools right now. I know a lot of parents are struggling to decide, like, what is the best direction for my kid right now? Is it homeschooling? Is it public school? Like, what is it? So that's probably one of the main things, because I mean, education's so important. We want our kids to have a good education. So that's one of the first things that comes to mind. And then also with that, just like social interaction right now, like our kids are just not able to do what they're meant to do, and that's play and socialize with other kids. So I think those two are probably the first things that comes to mind. And even like the kids who aren't fortunate enough right now to live in a household where their parents are loving them and just raising them. So those kids too that are struggling right now to access food and just the normal things that kids should have access to. Those are
That's good. I pray, I worry a little bit about some of the extra temptations during this time. With boredom is a scary place to be, and boredom plus internet, especially for older kids, can be really dangerous. So I pray a lot for especially the teenagers, that they can resist temptation, and parents are good at monitoring what kids are consuming on the internet. So that's one that feels heavy on my heart.
It's good too. For me, I'm worried about the psychological effect of this whole thing once everything gets back to open and normal, whatever that's going to look like. I tried talking to our team about this, like even in our own hearts, how are we preparing our emotional state for when we do get back to normal? So I think there's going to be this weird feeling that happens because we don't know how to process this crisis right now. So when we do get back to normal, how is it going to affect the children? Whether that's masks or boredom and lack of community, to who knows? Just I'm worried about what it's going to look like for our hearts and how we as parents and a church are fostering the time now so that it's not so catastrophic once it gets back to the new normal.
Cool. This was fun. I'm glad I guess I skipped my last question.
Yeah, that was an easy cop out.
I kind of have to go.
I'll have to do it again.
I'll do a shallow
Do
question.
shallow, quick.
And then I'm going to have to run to another meeting. You have the exact same meal for the next 12 months. What do you pick?
Nachos.
I don't think I want to die of cardiac arrest. So like for the taste, yeah, it would be nachos or pizza, but I would probably like pick like a well-balanced salad just to survive.
Yeah. Like
I would get so
salad.
sick of salad. Yeah, but I would.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed it. We did. We loved being in this new setting, new environment. We will do it again. Write down your comments below, and we'll get to them next week.
Yep. You can put questions for next week in the comments to this video, even after we're live, or usually on Thursdays in the morning, Michael will post that we're going to do Ask Anything later in the day. You could put comments there, or you could save your questions till we're live and put them in then. But until next week, well, Sunday night, we'll hopefully see most of you guys on campus here in Olmsted Falls for the outdoor service. See you guys.
See ya.
Oh, that was the wrong one.